The following program is brought to you by The Bot Shop, the art of creativity.
Tonight on The Local Live, school superintendents speak at the local summit. A Yale-created program is being implemented at Chatsworth. Maple and Rose Cafe is in the spotlight. And get a taste of some unique food and beer pairings right here in Mamaroneck. Good evening, it's Thursday, April 25th. I'm Mike Witch. Welcome to The Local Live. On Tuesday, Mamaroneck School Superintendent Dr. Robert Shaps and Rye Neck Superintendent Dr. Barbara Ferraro spoke at the monthly local summit held at the Nautilus Diner. Here they discussed the proposed school budgets for the 2019-2020 year. LMC TV host and producer Maura Carlin, among other local residents, raised concerns about the recent alleged racial incidents happening in the school district and questioned how the Mamaroneck budget plan will address the issue.
I see in your budget you've added Director of Student Life, and I was wondering if that is a response to that, and if whether it is or isn't, how the district is going to address the issue with respect to students, faculty and staff, and even parents in the district.
We have started to engage in professional work around the new frameworks developed by the New York State Board of Regents around culturally responsive sustaining frameworks, and starting to understand that in two ways. One, use it as an audit tool to really understand where as a system we are relative to not only diversity, but this issue of culturally responsive pedagogy. We've also had a parent forum prior to our hard lessons in history at the middle school, lessons on the use of the N-word. We invited parents on a Saturday morning to come together. We had about 45 middle school parents to understand our approach, to understand the difficulties both from the staff perspective and the student and family perspectives of how do you talk about in 5th grade the social studies frameworks around slavery, the history of slavery in New York State, so you gain that broader perspective.
Superintendent Dr. Shaps and Dr. Ferraro closed the summit by encouraging residents to get involved in the programs the community has to offer and to vote on the school budget on May 21st. On April 9th, the Mamaroneck School Board had a presentation on how school staff is using mood meters in their classes based on the Social Emotional Learning Program from the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence. The report included the results of how the program is being implemented at Chatsworth Avenue School.
So this is Mark Brackett. He's the founding director of the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence. For the last 15 years or so, he's been hopscotching the country and the world in service of students and educators, undergirded by both his scholarship and a personal passion for increasing emotional intelligence in something he calls the emotional revolution, or emotion revolution. So emotions matter, and this is something directly from the Yale site and something we're all well versed in. Emotions matter because they deeply influence our attention, our memory, and learning.
Students benefit from being emotionally intelligent, not only in recognizing feelings within themselves, but feelings within others, and being able to regulate how they feel and help others regulate as well. Having emotional intelligence also decreases anxiety and depression, it higher academic performance, it increases capacity for leadership. Students become more attentive and feel less likely to bully or be bullied, and the overall feeling of being valued is intensified because they understand the feeling of valuing.
Just like all emotions matter, when you're implementing a district or a school-wide initiative that really supports student social and emotional learning, you really have to do a lot of strategic planning on what that's going to look like in year 1, year 2, year 3, and projecting forward in year 5, and how the work really deepens. So with the school implementation team, Jen and Lauren being part of that and other teachers, we really tried to map out what that would look like or what we think that might look like. Obviously, the work, when you're implementing it, changes along the way.
A significant piece of the program is how students can indicate at both the beginning and the end of the day how they're feeling. The next steps involve letting students take the lead in this initiative, engaging parents, and expanding the program to other schools in the district. Mamaroneck Village Trustee Keith Waite resigned officially at Tuesday's board meeting. As we reported last week, Waite is starting a new job and will be moving to London. Mayor Tom Murphy was among many who had warm words for Waite.
And we want to honor his service and his time that he spent a lot of time trying to make this community a better place. And I want to read this proclamation. Whereas the Village of Mamaroneck, since its establishment on November 16, 1895, has been blessed to be home to countless residents who have committed themselves to serving their fellow man and ensuring the betterment of their community. And whereas among the residents, a select few have answered the call of public service and served both as volunteers on various boards and committees, as well as sought and be elected to public office. And whereas one such individual is Keith Waite, a man who has dedicated himself to the Village of Mamaroneck as a resident, volunteer, and elected official. And the leadership and compassion for the community he has displayed is an inspiration to us all. And whereas among trustees Waite's accomplishments, he has espoused and advocated for policy imperatives reflecting the community's shared values of tolerance, respect, environmental stewardship, and welcoming of all people to the Village of Mamaroneck. And whereas Trustee Keith Waite has also led the way to ensure the village continues to make investments in its infrastructure, meeting both the current and future needs of the village and its residents. He has also been actively involved in the budgeting process, protecting the taxpayers of the village while making sure the village fulfills its commitments. And whereas Trustee Waite recently announced that he would be leaving the village and resigning the office of trustee, effective April 23, 2019, leaving a legacy of service and accomplishment. And whereas on the occasion of his leaving the office of trustee, it is proper and appropriate to reflect on Trustee Waite's many accomplishments and contributions to our community, and thank him, his family, for his many fine works. Now, I, Thomas A. Murphy, on behalf of the residents of the Village of Mamaroneck, do hereby thank Keith Waite for his years of service and wish him the best in the future opportunities. And although he may be leaving the community, he will always have a home in the Village of Mamaroneck. Mr. Waite.
A 26-unit luxury condominium residence with a 24-hour doorman may be coming to downtown Larchmont, offering one way to revitalize the central business district. Rye-based developer Elk Homes presented its proposal and plans to the Larchmont Board of Trustees earlier this month. If approved, the proposed apartments are expected to go up where 108 Chatsworth Avenue and 65 Went Avenue meet. The development is said to include 3 affordable units and will provide 5,000 square feet of retail space. Community members will have opportunities to provide input both before the Village Board and the Planning Board. Notices for upcoming public meetings will be posted on the Larchmont Village calendar.
The move comes 4 days after her blackface comment that provoked a firestorm.
In an era of media consolidation and globalization, the PEG channels root our media in local communities, in local voices, and that is absolutely indispensable.
A lot of people are able to get job training, information, just from using public access.
This is about the arts. This is about accessibility. This is about transparency.
Great youth media programs giving people second chances in being able to learn new skills.
PEG stations give viewers critical information about their communities and offer an important platform for local residents. PEG channels connect us to our communities, and they enrich our lives every single day of the year. The FCC should work for communities, not powerful cable companies. This battle is a lot like the fight for net neutrality. Net neutrality is really about every voice, no matter how small, being heard. The same is true here with the PEG channels.
The main threat facing media centers nationwide is that the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, is going to redefine how we receive our funding.
It will impact the people who we're trying to serve. They're actually paying for us in their cable bill. And now all of a sudden the cable operator is taking their money, then deducting it from us.
They cannot be in a position where they basically force the shuttering of PEG channels all across our country.
We need Congress to tell the FCC that they're out of bounds.
It's pretty clear to me that the FCC is an agency that does the public's will begrudgingly, and it fits and starts.
We're talking about supporting causes, charities, education, youth, seniors, democracy.
This is not a left issue. This is not a right issue. This is an everybody issue.
If you care about protecting local community access television, raise your voices.
Matt Gorney and Ryan Hart wanted a way to pay tribute to the New York State's tree and flower. Their new eatery, Maple and Rose, opened earlier this month at the Grand Street Lofts. It's a bright, homey space where ingredients speak for themselves.
So Maple and Rose is an all-day cafe here in Mamaroneck. We opened on April 6th. We're serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and we will soon offer catering again as we were before. We actually started as a catering company about 2 years ago in Mamaroneck and Larchmont primarily. We also really took great care to design an environment that was really comfortable and relaxing and bright and very community-oriented. And that's what we're all about, is really being a great part of the community that can be used on an everyday basis.
For our menu, the thought was to kind of always have something available. So we never actually close throughout the day, as some restaurants might in terms of food service. The food at Maple and Rose, so Matt mentioned that it's simple, and simple is sort of the approach that we sort of take to everything, in the sense that we feel like if you get the best ingredients, there's not much doctoring up that you really need to do. A little lemon juice, a little olive oil, salt, pepper goes a long way in terms of enhancing flavors.
We're open every day, 7 days a week. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It's actually starting next week. We'll be open 7:30 a.m. till 8 p.m. You can visit our website, which is maplerosecafe.com. It always has our most up-to-date information and menus. And follow us on Instagram, which is @MapleRoseCafe.
Here's some of what's happening around town. Head over to Harbor Island Park for the 11th annual Clean and Green Day. Help keep our beach and waterways pristine as the community will meet at the Marine Center starting at 9:30 in the morning. Gloves, tools, and refreshments will be provided. Enjoy the weekend and take a walk in the park and more. The Larchmont Environmental Committee is kicking off their Let's Walk event at Constitution Park this Saturday, April 27th at 1. Saturday is also when you can safely get rid of unused and expired medication. Bring it to Larchmont Village Hall or the Town Police Department. And residents in Westchester County can schedule free rabies vaccinations for their pets this Sunday, April 28th, starting at 10 in the morning at the Stamen Animal Hospital in New Rochelle. If you own a cat or ferret, they must be in carriers. Dogs must be on a leash. All pets must be supervised by an adult.
LMC Cast.
The whole system is fine. All right, cool. I definitely would recommend doing podcasts if you are someone that likes to get something off the chest, or you want to just talk about anything in the world that just might interest you. Podcast here at LMC TV is amazing.
I hope you're listening out there.
We're serving you more this week. Up next is a taste of the microbrewery and gastropub operating out of Halftime in Mamaroneck. Two of the main figures behind Decadent Ales and Hoppa spoke to the Local Live about their venture.
We started brewing about 2 years ago at a small location down the street and have done a lot of searching for locations in Mamaroneck. We found this location here. Went through a couple years of approvals, and in the meantime was able to link up with some distributors that allowed us to brew at other locations and send our cans basically now worldwide. And the inspiration was really a passion to make beer that recreates artisanal flavors that you might not otherwise see in beer. I think that we have chosen IPAs as a good kind of blank slate for recreating flavors because the crisp backbone of an IPA does help bring out flavors that we try to create in the kitchen. I also think the IPA style is very popular right now. So the idea of adding hops to a beer that are a little bit more aromatic. You know, the IPAs that people are drinking now that are a little bit more kind of hazier and lend themselves to aromatic hops that are more citrus forward really fit perfectly with the types of beers that we create. So for example, we have a beer called Pog, which is a pineapple orange guava IPA, which is a take on the Hawaiian Pog juice. And so an IPA that's very juicy and citrus forward is a great platform for that type of beer. Now we have a facility here with a local restaurant, Hoppa, and we have 20 lines on draft. And the goal is to have a home base for our beer, almost a test kitchen for our beer, to brew all of our crazy concoctions, to have people sample our crazy concoctions.
So Hoppa was founded by me and my wife, and about five years ago, we started as a food truck. We started in Stamford, Connecticut. We definitely got a lot of support from the community, you know, just being something different. You know, my background is Filipino. I cooked in Hawaii as well, but I don't want to label the type of food that we serve. I just don't want to say it's Filipino food and misappropriate the food, you know, my culture's food, while it's actually, you know, there are some traditional dishes that I do like to feature, but generally Hoppa is a mix of cultures, basically, you know, where we take inspiration from people inspiration from an idea, and we see where we go. Paul and I didn't know each other yet until we got connected with Halftime. But the moment I saw his menu, I knew immediately that the pairing that we're able to do with flavor and concept is definitely something very special.
We're very lucky to have found Hapa to help, facilitate this venture. This is a great place for anybody to come and really test their interest in beer, and to not think of beer as Budweiser or a lager. That beer can be a lot of combinations of flavors, just like food. And this is a great place to really kind of understand that, I think.
This week in sports, the Mamaroneck boys lacrosse team hosted Connecticut powerhouse Newtown High's Nighthawks. Tied at 1 in the first quarter, the Tigers' Tom Conley showed off his impressive athleticism in the LMC Varsity Sports Play of the Week.
Even with the weather and stuff, 5-4 is very low scoring for Lax. As Conley, what a move! What a move! One side of the stick, brought it, flipped it to his other hand, and then scored past Dandria, and that's a top play of the week nominee.
That's what he does, quick on his feet.
Tom Conley makes it 2-1, and the Tigers lead the Nighthawks here at Mamaroneck.
Join in the fight against pancreatic cancer. Get inspired by patients, survivors, and loved ones who are on the same journey. Together, we will raise awareness and funds and honor everyone impacted by this terrible disease. Research remains our best strategy. There has never been a more exciting time in pancreatic cancer research. There are new treatment options on the horizon, and an early detection test is in development. But with just a 9% survival rate, we need to do more. Unfortunately, pancreatic cancer is on the rise. More than 56,000 Americans are projected to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer in 2019, which is an increase in diagnoses from last year. Pancreatic cancer is the third leading cause of cancer death in the United States, surpassing breast cancer, and is expected to be the second leading cause of cancer death in the United States by next year. Let's change these numbers and bring hope to pancreatic cancer research. In memory of my wonderful mom and also all the others affected by this horrible disease, please join me and the Lustgarten Foundation at the 10th Annual Westchester Pancreatic Cancer Research Walk at Rye Playland on Sunday, April 28th. 100% of every dollar raised goes directly to pancreatic cancer research. Register today at lustgartenwalkwestchester.org. That's LUSTGARTEN walkwestchester.org.
Do you have a news tip? Seen anything interesting around town? Is there breaking news in your community? Send your videos, comments, pictures, and tips to the Local Live, your news source of Larchmont and Mamaroneck.
Remember, if you missed Thursday's live broadcast, you can catch replays of the Local Live twice a day on this channel and find story clips on our YouTube channel. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook to stay up to date on things you may have missed. A reminder that LMC TV has launched a community survey. Please take a few minutes to tell us what you want from our local media center. You're the community. This is about you. Thank you for watching The Local Live. I'm Mike Witch. We'll see you next week. Have a good night.
The following program is brought to you by
The Bot Shop, the art of creativity. If you are interested in sponsoring this or other programs on LMC TV, contact us for more information.